time around. So today we're going to be talking about a really important subject, and I'm going to try to get through it as fast as I can. How to boost your retirement accounts by $400,000. Now, I want to say something before I begin, just so people understand, who I am and what I'm doing and why I'm doing these live streams. I'm obviously I'm an advisor and I manage money, and I'm life insurance licensed, so I do life insurance products, group plans. It's something I've been doing for 20 years, and I love what I do for a living. And what is this interesting backgrounds here? This is really, don't want this. There we go. The clouds and rainbows and everything. And I enjoy what I do. And so it's really important for me because I'm passionate about what I do. I like to share information that helps people, that guides them, teaches them. And I'm really big on teaching as I'm advising. I think it's important that people understand how to grow their wealth, how to manage their expenses. And when you understand things more and you have more knowledge, you have deeper, more meaningful conversations. So that's the basis of why I do live stream. I also want you to get to know who I am, my personality, but a little bit about the topics, right? So on financial planning, the topics, there's like huge amount of content that I can talk about. And it's true, on my LinkedIn profile, it says that I work with business owners. It's true. But I also have individuals who are clients as well. I have people who are retired, people from 60 to 85 years of age that are my clients. And why I'm saying this is because business owners are individuals. And so obviously I work with individuals. It's not that I don't work with individuals, just I have a particular amount of knowledge that I really love working with business owners. When I first started out, that wasn't the case. I worked with individuals, young families, learning what it was like to work with young families, budgeting, doing RESPs, helping families pay down their mortgage balances. I'm trying to find ways to put more money into their retirement accounts. So, I've grown in terms of my knowledge. And when I, because I have a business background and coaching background, when I began working with business owners, it's just something I really loved. It's a different kind of conversation. It's like multi-dimensional. You got to have a lot of different knowledge and experience to work with a business owner. And so I just liked it. And so just so you know, so these presentations, sometimes the presentations are going to be for a business owner. Sometimes it's going to be for an individual. Sometimes it's going to be directed at specifically a group of people. Like, for instance, I have a lot of accountants that are connected with me on LinkedIn. So I'll do a presentation that's only for accountants. 2 weeks ago, I did one on individual pension plans. It was a very technical presentation. I had on a guest speaker, Leah Koiv. It was very, very well done. She's an industry expert, speaks at all kinds of financial conferences and symposiums. Lucky to have her on. She gave a great presentation that would have really reached the accounting professional that I'm connected with because it was highly technical. I followed it up with a version that was not as technical, that was more directed to the business owner. So sometimes it's business related, sometimes it's not. Today, it's about how to have $400,000 of extra money in your retirement account. So this could be for a business owner, it could be for an individual. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about today are directly related to business owner. But you know what? If you're not a business owner, it's okay. I challenge you to take this on because it's going to really change your life. Let's dig into this. So how are we going to find this extra money? By examining your expenses and creating new incomes. So when I say examining your expenses, I'm not talking about regressing to a lifestyle where you're eating dog food. This is a little tongue-in-cheek. I have a client, when I first met, the comment was, please help me. I don't want to eat dog food in my retirement. Now, that's not going to happen. Far from that. But I thought it was kind of interesting that some people believe that I know it was a joke, but some people are deeply concerned that they're not going to have enough money. I'm actually going to show you some slides here that's going to show you how a lot of people don't have enough money to retire. Let's talk about who this this presentation is really for. A low-income earner, your issue is not how do I save enough money for retirement. Your issue is income. You need to make more money. And so when I'm talking with people that have low incomes, right away we're talking about how to actually get a higher paying job or how to make more money. Not so much as to how to save, but as how to make money. That's the real key issue. That middle class people, this is the session this is designed for, because it's a savings concern, right? You have expenses in this timeline where you're making decent incomes and you've got a lot of money coming in and going out, and you're trying to figure out, how do I save enough money while still enjoying my lifestyle? The affluent market, when I'm meeting with the affluent market, their issue is tax. They're not thinking about how do I save, an extra $5,000 a year. That's not their concern. Their concern is, I'm paying far too much tax. How do I stop paying or lower my tax burden? How do I get money out of my business without creating a further tax burden on me personally, increasing my tax rate? How do I do that? And those conversations are completely different. So this session is not for the affluent, although it might be for one of their children who decide not to work in the business and take another path. This could appeal to them as well. So what are we really talking about? How to find $5,000 per year. Now, don't get hung up on the 5,000. If your number is 25,000, fine. The principles here that I'm going to share with you, the number is relevant, really. Okay, so what I'm really saying to you is to challenge yourself to find $5,000, not through, your current income, because right now you're spending all of your money on. I'm going to get into what you're spending money on, a variety of different things, and there's very little money left over. So I'm not asking you to peel away your lifestyle to a place where, again, you're eating dog food. That's not it. We're going to talk about how to find $5,000 in areas of your life that you probably didn't even recognize that you have the money there. But this is you're going to really love it. It's going to be great. And then the other issue is, how do you make more, an extra 5,000? Okay, so most people aren't saving enough money, and I'm going to share this with you because this is really an interesting statistic. People that recent survey said we need to save about $1 million to $1.5 million in our retirement in order to live a decent retirement. And the actual is kind of alarming. 65 to 74-year-olds have about $426,000 in their retirement accounts. This is only going to produce about $15,000 to $25,000 of annual taxable income. Why do I say the range 15 to 25? Because when you start taking money out of your RIF, this is an RSP that changes to a RIF to take money out, the amount, so Revenue Canada tells us how much money as a minimum you need to take out, and that starts about 4%. And so that goes up each year. That percentage that you have to take out, that minimum, increases each year as you get older. So it goes from 15 to 25,000. That's why the range. The average contribution across Canada, all income, is less than $5,000. In Toronto, actually, it's about $4,200. That's the average for everybody. So if you are a high income earner, obviously you're not putting $5,000 in an RSP, you're putting your maximum in. But if you're not earning a high income, you're challenged with, how do I save for retirement and have all these expenses as well? But what I'm really speaking to today, this session is mostly for business owners, but if you're not a business owner, think about how this would apply to you as well. So look at this. I said to you that the average retiree has $400,000 in retirement, and on average, people are putting about $5,000, less than that actually, away into their RSP every year. So think about this. This is what you're trying to achieve, that 1.5, in this case 1.6, but you're only going to get $300,000 if you put less than $5,000 away every year. So the details are there in the slide as to how do we get to that number. So you can see there's a huge disconnection here, a big imbalance, a savings imbalance. what people are putting in versus what they really need. And so we need to start thinking about, how do you put more money away? Because some people think, oh, if I put more money in my RSP, I won't have enough money to go and enjoy my life. The problem is, you're not going to enjoy your life in retirement if you're sitting in your apartment, not able to go anywhere because you don't have enough money. I mean, think about, in retirement, you're going to live 25 to 30 years, 35 years in retirement, and not being able to do anything during that timeline because you don't have enough money. That is just, why in the hell did you work all this time putting yourself through maybe a really hard work environment to not have money to relax and retire and enjoy yourself? You need to be really conscious of this, and I'm going to help you with that. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to ask you a question today. Please put this in your comments below. I want to hear from you. I want to know, this is really important. It's really important that I get to hear your feedback. I want to know, how do you determine how much money to put into an RSP each year? What is your thought process? Do you think about, well, I make so much money and I calculate at the end of the year, and so I know this is how much money I'm going to put in? Usually people do that, or you have decided every month you're going to do deposits that will add up to a certain amount of money that you believe is within your budget, right? The idea here is that you've got to figure out why you're putting that amount in. And if you're getting an increase every year in your pay, then you should be increasing how much goes into your retirement account. When we do one-on-one with clients, I like to say these questions, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you investing in these particular securities, funds? How did you choose these things? Like, all those things are very important, because most people are creatures of habit and just keep doing the same thing year after year, but they're not really focused on what is the result of this. So you really need to be thinking about not how much money you can put in each year, but how much income you're going to need when you retire. This is the most important thing, and that leads you to how much money you should be putting in. Okay, so let's talk about uncovering $5,000 or more. Again, don't get hung up on the 5,000. I put 5,000 because it's sticker shock. I don't want to say to somebody, hey, today we're going to talk about how to find 25,000, 50,000. This is not going to be appealing to a lot of people. So that's why I chose 5,000. You can change your number, because these things are going to appeal to you. The strategies are going to be whatever number. If 10,000, 25,000, it's still going to work for you. So we're going to look at, what are you doing personally? So business owners, what are you spending personally that should have been a business expense, but you just didn't know that it would qualify? First thing is, you got to be with an accountant that's going to teach you how to actually write off things in your business. I'm not talking about cheating. I'm talking about legitimately finding business expenses that you didn't realize was a business expense. You say, oh, whatever, it's fine. But look, these little things that you're doing, you're saying, it's okay. It added up to 5, 10, 25,000, depending on how much money is going through your business. These little things that you could have paid attention to make a meaningful amount of money later on. If you're thinking about this over a 25-year period, it adds up. So here's some insight. So look at this. This illustration shows what people spent money on in Canada. About $70,000 of expenses. This is the average middle-class family, okay? $70,000. Those red circles are really important, because those are the areas that business owners spend money personally. In many times, in many instances, could have been a business expense. Now, I'm not going to go into how to figure this out. This is a one-on-one situation. You call me up, we meet, and I'll be happy to share those ways with you. Your accountant can also tell you how you can actually change some of these expenses into actual legitimate business expenses. So what we're really talking about is a play off of your corporate tax rate versus your personal tax rate. personal expenses that should have been a business expense. You ask your accountant for a list of all the things that could have been going through your business. What I say to a business owners is, get an accountant. If you needed a referral, I'll give you a referral to excellent accountants. If your personal tax returns, there's some things you can, that you have deductions, if you will, that an accountant might be able to share with you that is obviously way different from the business owner. But you really want to ask your accountant, because your accountant's just going to, you give, generally speaking, a lot of business owners say, here you go, bookkeeper, and they add up everything and they say, here's what you need to pay. What you really need to do is have a relationship with the accountant that says, given all things are equal for next year, what didn't I do? Or what could I do differently that's going to have a better outcome for me next year, so I pay less taxes, for instance, okay? So those are the kind of questions. And that list that he or she will give you will say to you, here's where you could have, here's where you didn't. You had all these opportunities for legitimate business expenses, but you didn't do that. And so that's the kind of relationship you want with an accountant, not someone who just is a history teacher. Okay, tip number one. You're a business owner and you have personal life insurance. I know you're a business owner and if you believe in insurance, because there are some people that don't believe in insurance, but if you're a business owner and you have life insurance, term insurance, transfer that to your business. It's not a disposition. There's no taxation here. There's no cash value. It's just term insurance. It's like transferring your car insurance to your business. Why do you do this? Because you're paying more for it personally, because you have to pay yourself. If, let's say, you have a higher taxable income, you're paying yourself 150%. You understand where I'm getting the 150%, right? Because 50% of your money goes to taxation. So you're paying yourself a lot more money to pay those premiums personally than you would if your business was to pay for it. If you move your life insurance to your company, it's a very simple process. It's a one-page thing. You got to supply maybe some incorporation documents, that type of thing. And when you pass away, the money flows through your capital dividend account through to your shareholder. Your shareholder is your spouse or your kids or your charity, so nothing changes. But the only thing that's going to change here is you're going to save thousands of dollars in money. And I say that to everybody, okay? That is something I usually share with a one-on-one, but I don't mind sharing it now because it's such a simple thing to do. That you just probably, if you're thinking of trying to find $5,000, you just found a third of that money right there. Okay, healthcare spending account. I love this because it works brilliantly for business owners. And the reason for that is because, look, you're a business owner, you might have a group plan. And in that group plan, you've got deductions, you've got copay, so you've got a spouse that works somewhere else, and whose insurance pays for what, and you have limits, you have things that don't qualify. In your company, you're gonna use all the deductions you can or claim everything that you can, and every year your group premium goes up because you're using it. Funny, right? You're using your insurance and it goes up. So the advantage here with a healthcare spending account is very simple. Go back to this slide here. Under healthcare, the top right-hand corner, health and personal care, 6% of $70,000. So about $4,000 was used by an individual personally. And let's say that was a business owner. They spent $4,000 to go see specialists, or they bought things that they didn't run through their group plan, or maybe they don't have a group plan, and they paid for it personally at a higher tax rate. So this is important because the healthcare spending account is going to allow you to, from the right slide, there you go. A healthcare spending account is basically taking your personal medical expenses and transforming them or transferring them into your business. So you've got your business paying for it. Now it becomes a deductible expense. You're doing all the things that you, like you don't have to change anything. So what am I saying here is that if you have a group plan, you have to go to your doctor, get a prescription for whatever it is that you want, so that you can demonstrate to the government and to the insurance company that you have a prescription and that you're allowed to actually have this claim, so you take that. A healthcare spending account, same thing. Go to your doctor and do the same process. So you're not changing anything. What changes is what you can actually deduct. 124 different deductions that you can put on here, wide range, no deductibles. You still need the prescription, but very liberal. When I say very liberal, there are expenses that you wouldn't believe that you can expense on a healthcare spending account that you would never get away with on a group plan. And so that's why I would encourage you, if you're a business owner, maybe you're just self-employed, you're incorporated and you don't have a group plan, but you're spending the money personally anyway, then have a healthcare spending account. And your spouse is going to love you for it. Your kids are going to love you for it. And you're going to send me a letter that says, thank you for introducing me to healthcare spending accounts, because it's such a game changer for business owners. Last one, very liberal. So if you have any questions about this, please give me a call, put your comments in there, and I will explain how it works. It's very simple. Okay, if you are doing some kind of business or hobby, there's going to be an association. So join an association. Group premiums are always lower for insurance because the age and experience is actually spread out over a group, so the premiums are always lower. So it's an easy way for you to pick up insurance at a lower cost. Look, I'm an insurance advisor. I want to write life insurance on clients, right? But what's fair is to say to someone, before you hand money over to, you're not giving it to me, but to an insurance company, consider where you can pick up insurance at a cheaper rate. Then backfill whatever else you need with your own personal insurance. Just think it's a useful way to do that. Okay, insurance premiums, car insurance, home insurance, insurance for your business. You want to raise the deductibles. That's going to lower your premiums. And then you want to shop around. Insurance is a highly competitive product. Insurance companies are always willing to take you on because they're going to be able to undercut their competitor, and insurance companies are famous for doing this. So take advantage of the cutthroat environment that they're in, where you'll have lower premiums. Sell to current clients. I love this, guys. Look, if you're in business, I hope you know this already, but trying to find a new client is 25 times more expensive than retaining an existing client, and keeping the right customer is very valuable. So look, we're in coronavirus. Finding new clients is tougher than ever. Maybe after a year, you've gotten the knack of it, doing things like this where you're on a live stream. Obviously I do this for meeting people. I want people to see my personality, hear how I talk, that I'm a normal person, hear my experience, my knowledge. Obviously, all these different live streams, anybody tuning in is going to see that I actually have experience that's useful to a great many business owners and individuals. So they say, yeah, that person looks like the right individual. That's why businesses have gone onto live streaming, gone to making videos, using social media platforms to generate new clients. But you know what? It's time consuming. You got to prepare the slides. You have to be able to talk in front of a different kind of medium. It's not for everybody. And so it's a really difficult thing to do. So I don't want to say rather than or instead of, because I think you have to do this now. Many businesses are turning to this. They see it as a very useful tool. But what's really useful is to go back to your existing clients, to talk to them, because your existing clients are going to spend 33% more than your new customers. And if you can retain 10% of your customers, your current customers, that is an increase of 30% to the value of your company. It's so important. Now, as a business owner, I'm an advisor. I run my own practice. So obviously going back to my clients is an important thing to do. It's also a fiduciary thing I've got to do. I've got to make sure that I'm protecting my clients and I'm not forgetting things, leaving gaps in the planning. That's very important. But I want you to think from a point of view of business processes, right? When you onboard a new client, what processes do you have that ensure that you are covering everything that could be useful to that client? So for me, for example, just so you can get an idea, I have a CRM program. I've built into the CRM program, comes with the software, but an onboarding process. It's a 14-step onboarding process that goes from everything from the first email of saying, thank you for becoming my client, welcome aboard, that kind of thing, to areas of which I didn't get a chance to do any planning in, because let's say this client comes to me in February where they need to make an RSP contribution, time is running out, they make a contribution. It's a burning issue, right? They have 10 other things that are important, but this is like top of the list. We don't have any time. I'm also busy doing other deposits. I'm really busy. So then I have a follow-up process that says, go back to this client and do a full discovery of this client to make sure that there are no gaps in your planning, because you don't want to have this client with any liabilities, any vulnerabilities that could damage them financially. And that is an obligation I have to do, but it's also an important step to make sure that, one, I'm selling to my client and getting as much business I can from my client. That's a normal thing in business. So you have to do the same thing with your client. It's not just about, it's a dual responsibility, right? Responsibility to your business to generate as much revenue as you can in an integrous way, but also making sure that you are helping your client with the products and services that you have that you know that's going to be impactful in their life. So this is important that you have a process built into your business. Okay, hire your children. Now, again, if you're the affluent market, you know, when I talked about this group up here, the affluent market is not coming to, I'm going to look at this and say, I need to hire my kids because I'm going to save $12,000. The first $12,000 is tax-free. And so they're not thinking about this. What this is talking about is, let's say for an affluent client, bringing a client into the business is really about succession strategy. Getting them the experience, rounding out their experience of how does this business operate, and taking them through the entire process of the business so that when they take over the business, they fully understand. They're not just being, parachuted in, you're in charge, and they don't know about the business. That's that issue for bringing in a child. If you are a small business, then bringing in a child is very important because you can defer $12,000 to a lower income tax bracket, and also start to give them a job, teach them responsibilities. So there's lots of things, lots of benefits to doing this other than just, shielding $12,000 from taxation. Okay, discounts for paying early. Coronavirus. Businesses are suffering. They need cash. They're starved for cash. And it's likely that they would offer you a discount if you pay in advance, like pay for it right up front. So you want to ask your suppliers, do you have a discount for paying one time right now up front? If your business is flush with cash and you're doing well, why not take advantage of these discounts? These discounts translate into savings for your business, whether you roll that savings into your business and use it to generate more business, or you take that money and put it into your retirement accounts or other investments. The idea here is look for opportunities for you to save, and that's why we say that. If businesses are not offering a discount, then keep your money in your hands as long as you possibly can and pay your bills without incurring any fees. Last slide. Okay, develop your side hustle. This is so important. Leverage your knowledge and your experience. $20,000 part-time, or we'll say a passive income, is equal to $400,000 in retirement. So in the very beginning, I talked about, no, this is not multi-level marketing. But you know what? Some people get excited about multi-level marketing and see it as an opportunity. This is not a presentation on multi-level marketing. I'm just saying I don't want to diminish anyone's spirit with the comment that I had in the beginning of this is not multi-level marketing. What I'm saying to you is your knowledge and your experience, your passion, your hobby, turn them into an income-producing opportunity for yourself. And trying to generate, I use 20,000 because when you look at it from a RIF point of view or an income point of view, a $400,000 is like having another RIF available to you, right? Because that $20,000 is what you would generate. If you can try to produce $20,000 passively, this is awesome. If you can turn that interest or hobby into a part-time job, a part-time gig, we call it a side hustle that might produce, maybe even replace your income even better. So why am I challenging you with this subject today? Because it's so important for you to save money. So many people are going to be in this situation where they're putting away money. Oh yeah, I'm saving for retirement. And by the way, the markets are producing great rates of return. It's not always going to be like that. We're going to go ebbs and flows. I've done, if you followed my presentations before, where I've shown you all the recessions, all of the volatility in the market, and it doesn't last forever. And so you really need to be thinking about that money that you're saving right now. Is it really good enough? Is it enough? I'm not even getting into what are you investing in. I'm just talking about your deposit amount. So it's really important recognizing that most seniors have this when they really need that. That's a problem, right? And those seniors have this that are retired now, baby boomers, they also have pensions, right? You probably don't have a pension unless you're, working for the government, or you're a public service worker, something like that. Then you might have a pension, but teachers, but people working for themselves do not have pensions unless they create a pension. That's another session I did 2 weeks ago. So look in my YouTube channel, you'll see the individual pension plan. So it's so important for you to try to generate more money in your retirement. I'm a big advocate of challenge yourself. So here's the challenge. Again, I want you to challenge yourself to find $5,000, just $5,000, to put into your investment account. Is it that you actually have more money and you're not because you just want to keep it in your checking account? That might be an issue. But is there something in your house, your garage, things you haven't, you've just been collecting that you could just get rid of, sell, generate $5,000, put that into an investment account? Are there savings where you look at your life from a business point of view and you say, wow, I had no idea all of these expenses qualified as a business expense. There's an extra $5,000, $25,000 of savings. I can put into my business, or I can put it in my retirement account. I'm challenging yourself to really turn over your life and look hard at what you're spending your money on and where are the inefficiencies. That's the whole point of this presentation. Again, thanks again for tuning in. If you like this video, please comment and like and share it with anybody you believe that needs to hear this. I'm on every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, streaming across YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday next week, and have a great week. Beautiful sunny weather. Enjoy yourself. Take care.